Welcome to the Chelsea Fans Channel. I'm joined by Charlie the Hurricane Skillen from the Mail Online, and it is time for my favourite part of the week. I'm going to give you the topics that we're going to talk about, and I think you'll agree this is a very, very exciting edition. We're going to be talking about Griezmann, we're going to be talking about Lukaku, we're going to be talking about Masonda, we're going to be talking about some new youngsters that are coming through, and we're going to finish on a Q&A. Charlie, lovely to have you in. What is the Mark Hughes regarding Griezmann?
I'll let you have that this week.
Thank you. Staying.
Right. Griezmann. Look, this is a name that we've talked about pretty much since we started doing the show, I think. Atletico Madrid, absolute talisman. They're right in the Spanish title race. He's been fantastic for them. Obviously, he knocked Barcelona out of the Champions League.
Yeah. Great, wasn't it?
It really was, and it was great. It was a great game, and Chelsea have a long-standing interest in him. Now, the latest news is that both Manchester United and Chelsea will definitely be going for Griezmann in the summer. Slight hitches. The sources close to Griezmann, this is what we reported on Wednesday, I think, at the Mail, is that they're not totally sure he's ready for the Premier League in terms of physicality and all the rest of it. I mean, the English game is so different to most of the other leagues in Europe. And what I've been hearing is that they'd like him to stay at Atletico another season and then kind of make the transition to the Premier League. Obviously, Atletico's still going great guns in the Liga and the Champions League. That could persuade him to stay. Chelsea certainly aren't going to be in the Champions League. Manchester United probably not. But those two clubs certainly, Chelsea and Man United, will both be going in big for him.
Well, that's great news, because he is the exact sort of player that I think we need to sign.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely think he's up there in terms of Chelsea's targets.
We have a good relationship with Atletico. We
do, and it could well be smoothed over by Diego Costa heading back there.
No, it's not deal off.
It's not a scenario that I think most Chelsea fans want to see. But the other slight hitch is, at the minute, if you're weighing up going to Manchester United or going to Chelsea as a neutral player, are Chelsea really the winners in that situation? I'm not so sure.
No, probably not. Okay, that's understandable. Lukaku. This one really interests me. He's a player that I rate very highly. Last time we spoke, we said that pretty much both parties had agreed that the page had been turned.
Yeah, now, I can imagine myself getting stick for this one. Now, a lot has been said about Lukaku going back to Chelsea this week. It's been all over the back pages. Obviously, Mail's reported it as well. Now, there's lots of different things coming out of Lukaku's camp. When we spoke last time about him, that was true, and that's what he said. That was his quote, the page has been turned. Basically, I think Lukaku's just absolutely desperate to get out of Everton. Yeah. He recognises himself quite rightly as one of Europe's top strikers. And to be honest, he's perfectly available for transfer. Now, the latest we're hearing out of Chelsea's camp is that they would be open to bringing him back.
Terrible state of affairs at Chelsea that we didn't have some sort of buyback clause in the contract originally, isn't it?
It's just one of those things, isn't it? And unfortunately, he left for 28 million, and unfortunately Chelsea are going to have to pay over double that, so over 60 million if they're going to get him back.
I didn't know it'd be that much. I mean, I know that he's a fantastic player. Well, we'll go for big money, but that's huge.
It is. But I keep saying about these transfer fees. It's all about potential. It's all about potential gains compared to outlay. And look, 60 million, as ridiculous as it sounds, is not what it used to be.
And also, I suppose 60 million would actually, if he's our number 9 for the next decade, 60 million's a snip, isn't it?
Yeah. It's a bit hard to say 60 million's ever a snip.
But the money that Real Madrid paid for Ronaldo was a fortune, but that would be looked at as a bargain now.
Yeah, of course. Now, it puts Chelsea in a very embarrassing situation. I think there is an understanding, not an overall regret, because I think at the time a lot of these deals made sense, but there is an understanding that more could have been done with De Bruyne and more could be done with Lukaku in particular in terms of keeping them at the club, or at least getting the option to get them back. Now, this is where Chelsea gets stung now. If they were to go in big for Lukaku, it would be big. It would have to be 60 million. I think Lukaku would be open to coming back. Chelsea is certainly opening to make that deal happen. Whether it will or not, I'm still not quite so sure. I still think there's going to be a host of clubs after him. We're talking pretty much every club in Europe.
We could go in with 100 million and do a hat-trick of Evertonians. That would be my dream. Stones and Barkley alongside Lukaku.
Hibbert. Oh, yeah, Yeah, I don't think 100 million would get you them, and also I'm not sure those players are going to solve anything at the minute. I think Conte certainly was going to want a bit more experience, a bit more defined quality than that.
Right.
Lukaku comes ready.
Yes,
absolutely. I think he's probably the only one of those three that does.
Right.
But as I said, still I remain unconvinced that he'll be a Chelsea player next season.
Okay, well, I will be firmly keeping my fingers crossed that he does, because I rate him very, very highly. So if we're saying that Lukaku is one who is ready,
yeah,
we also need to be nurturing these players. We've seen wonderful things going on with our youth. Congratulations to them. They did fantastically to win the Champions League again. 2 out of 3 they've won now. Really brilliant from them. Charlie Musonda is seen by many as being the jewel in the crown of this extremely brilliant youth system. It's dazzling, the form that they've been in.
Mm-hmm.
What's the news with Charlie Musonda?
Right, so he's been on loan in Spain at Real Betis, and since January, and he has done better than even anyone would hope. I mean, his talent was well known to anyone that kind of either watched youth games or read about him or anything. He was, as you say, he was probably the biggest talent in the academy. Bit of a shame he didn't even get his debut at Chelsea. Now, we've heard a lot of things about Chelsea wanting to bring him back, but it actually looks like he's going to be staying at Real Betis for next season. Now, I don't think that's a bad thing per se. I mean, while I think it would be great to see him come back and flourish in the team, he is actually now one of Betis' key players. The fans absolutely love him. He's absolutely, he's provided so many great things for their attacking side. You've actually got fans turning up in Charlie Musonda masks to Real Betis. So I think maybe if he can stay as the jewel in that side, then I think it could work for all parties. I mean, we would permanently say this with loans, and I think we get disappointed all the time when we see these players do well out on loan and never come back. I mean, I think, for example, I think it would be hugely disappointing not to see Christensen and Ake both come back after the seasons they've had for... Particularly
Christensen. I think Nathan Ake is a great player. I think he's done very good things at Watford, but Christensen is being touted as the best defender in the Bundesliga.
Yeah, he's done fantastically for Mönchengladbach. He's played in the Champions League. So, I mean, for my money, if you're going to perform like that at that level, then surely you want a chance back at Stamford Bridge. Yeah, if we own these players.
See, my fear is that if these players don't get the chance, will other ones want to come? I hear that could actually be. You've got a few to talk about that are coming in.
Yeah. I mean, look, Chelsea's obviously recruitment works at 2 levels. You're talking the first team. There seems to be this kind of level of players that your Gilabodgis and your Michael Hectors and those type of guys. I mean, I'm not sure anyone is too keen for any more of them, but certainly, obviously, you've got a recruitment. Not just there's a real emphasis on nurturing players, but there's also buying some of the best young players around. Now, a couple of them, Moussa Dembele, not the Tottenham one, obviously, the Fulham forward. He's actually, really looking like he could well be a Chelsea player next season.
Great. Because actually Tottenham were sniffing around this guy, aren't they?
They were.
They could have had 2 players at this club with the same name.
Basically I think they just thought it would get too confusing, so they've actually dropped their interest in him. And Dembele,
that's opened the door for us.
Dembele actually came to the Manchester City game as a guest of Chelsea. I mean, God knows what he made of that. Yeah. But I mean, to be fair, he probably fancied his chances of getting in the side. Yeah. But look, he's been by far and away Fulham's best player. He was never going to be at Fulham next season. I think he's only young and he scored 17 goals in the Championship this season. Wow. So that would certainly bode well for the future. Someone even younger that Chelsea are hot favourites for now, and they've actually beaten off competition from Man United, is Juan Firmino Castillo, who, despite his name, is actually Dutch. Right. He's a 16-year-old midfielder. He's captain their under-16s, and he's a sort of combative player. Can either play in the centre or the left.
Okay, so this would be a great signing as well.
Well, I'd be lying if I said I've watched him every week this season.
No, but it would be one that it's the time if Chelsea Football Club is signing the hottest young talent around, it can only bode well for the future.
Yeah, of course, and hopefully there's keep winning on FA Youth Cup and the UEFA Youth League and whatever. Surely at some point there's got to be some transition in the first team. And look,
we've seen a whisper of it, haven't we? Not enough.
We've seen far more of it. I think Loftus-Cheek is firmly at the stage where he is a squad player. He's no longer a youth player.
No, I think that Traore is at the same stage as so is Kennedy.
Kennedy, they're all young players. You know, we saw Clark Salter make his debut. Hopefully, we'll see one or two more before the end of the season.
Yeah.
The likes
Charlie
of
Colquitt's got to get his game. Did you see his
been
goal,
on the
by the
bench.
way?
Yeah, it was fantastic.
What a good goal.
Yeah, fantastic.
Really nice to see. I suppose
Good Barnett
it's
as
time.
well.
Good Barnett. Yeah, can't argue with that at all. I suppose you should do a bit of a Q&A.
Let's do it.
Right, thank you all so much for getting your questions in. We'll get through as many of them as possible. This one about Fabregas is very exciting. It's one that I actually agree with here. Do you think that Conte will build a midfield around Cesc Fabregas? That question is from Park the Bus.
Right, well, Fabregas was on Monday Night Football with Jamie Carragher on Sky Sports, and he admitted that he is not an all-action player. You know, as we well know, he needs protection from other midfielders. Now, obviously, that necessitates playing other midfielders who can do the dirty work, who can do the running, who can do the tackling. The problems that this season has seen is that there's been no one to do that, which, to my mind, is why it was so absolutely mental to sell Ramirez, because he offered.
Yeah, he would do it. Yeah.
He offered that in the squad, which no one else did. You know, so seeing. I mean, Mikel has different qualities. He's more of a kind of, you know.
Yes.
It's
not an energy. It's not an energy player.
Exactly, exactly. And Matic, you'd hope to be that, but has just had an absolute shocker of a season. So, I think Fabregas. I think Conte will have him in his plans. Obviously, we've seen similar from Conte with Andrea Pirlo. I mean, some of Fabregas's performances this season have been nowhere near that standard. I think he's played a couple.
Others have been.
Others have been very decent. In fact, I think he's been one of our better players since the turn of the year. But certainly, I think that Conte will look to completely revamp the midfield. For my money, that's the biggest problem in the team at the minute. I don't think you'll see such a seismic change that we'll have 3 new midfielders in first choice team. So yeah, I do think Fabregas will be a key component.
Yeah, I agree. I think that he should be as well, because I think that on his day he is one of the best players in the game. In fact, very few players can do what he can do.
No, that's true.
He can play a ball that other players aren't even aware of.
That's true, but what you do need to do is compensate for his deficiencies, and Conte will be
that would be not playing him in that position, though. He isn't a holding midfielder.
No,
give him slightly a freer role, play other holding midfielders. If that's my take on it. Anyway. Next question is from CFC Spence. If you could bring back one former player in their pomp, who would it be?
At the minute, very much related to the last point, I think these two would actually work very well together, is Michael Essien. I think pace, power, tackling, shooting. You know, for a couple of seasons, just had everything in his locker. Such a shame how badly hampered he got by injuries. Yeah. Because he was always going to be a player that once his legs went was not going to be much use. Because, you know, I mean, if you're talking pure technique, probably wasn't.
No, he wasn't about that. He wasn't about being a Pirlo, was it?
That wasn't that. Yeah, that clearly wasn't his game. So it's such a shame to see him dulled, you know, towards the end of his career. But not that his career's over, but towards the end of his Chelsea career. So yeah, I'd love to bring back Michael Essien, and I think in fact that's the sort of player that Fabregas will work really well with and allow Fabregas to shine in the way that we know he can. Yes,
it would be an incredibly good midfield, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
those two,
bit of shame.
Best. Yeah, very nice. This question is from GFC Owen. If you could name 3 things that have contributed to this poor season, what would they be?
God, can I name 10?
3 things. You can't. No, 3. Owen wants them in 3 concise words.
Like it. Poor pre-season.
Yep.
Selling Petr Cech to Arsenal.
Yeah.
And general attitude of the playing staff.
There we go. I think that you've probably hit the nail on the head there. I think I agree with every single one of those. This question is from Connor Wakefield. Connor wants to know, what are your best and worst moments from this season? Best and worst. Oh.
Best moment would definitely have to be beating Arsenal.
Definitely.
At the Emirates.
The best moment's still to come, actually, and that's coming on the 2nd of the 5th.
Mate, I hope so.
That moment is coming. Yeah. And what's your worst?
So. Oh God.
It's still to come. It's a Sunderland away when we lose 3-0.
Yeah. To be honest, I said to Sophie on the thing afterwards that generally thought, you know, probably wasn't the worst moment because there's been nothing to play for, but I think the worst Chelsea play this season was probably
Swansea.
against Man City.
City was bad, yeah. Swansea was bad.
Last weekend.
It's been a fair few, hasn't there?
In terms of the worst moment, I mean, there's just been been so many. Worst performance, I'd say, was Man City.
Yes, I can't. Yeah, you know, there's so many moments going. Pinpoint it to one.
In fact, worst moment for me, because I genuinely thought he should have stayed, and I still think that it has set Chelsea back, and clearly something needed to change. But for me, the worst moment was sacking Jose Mourinho.
Yes, agreed. Last question is from Diego the Governor. Diego the Governor wants to know, what is your best memory of beating Tottenham at Stamford Bridge?
Oh, there's been a few of them, hasn't there?
I have a perfect answer for this one. I really do.
Go on then, I'll let you do it.
When I was quite young, I can remember it very well though. We beat Tottenham 4-0 twice in 3 days.
Yeah, after they finally beat us.
We beat Tottenham 4-0 twice in 3 days.
Yeah, that'll do.
That was an incredible thing. Jimmy Floyd's Hasselbank, remember the hat-trick? Jimmy's
Oh,
hat-trick?
that was best hat-trick of all time.
Jimmy's hat-trick was great.
Was that not at the Lane?
No,
that was
at
at the Bridge.
Left foot.
That was at the Bridge. The other one was at the Lane.
Yes. Other great, Georgie Weah's last minute.
Oh yeah, it's on my 10th birthday. That was.
Really?
Yeah.
Georgie Weah's last minute.
There's been some blinders.
There really has been some excellent occasions. In fact, comment below. Let us know, what are your favourite moments of beating Tottenham at Stamford Bridge. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Truly hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up, because I'm still trying to monitor if you like this new format. And yeah, comment below. Let us know what you think of the points raised. Got any Blues?
Hello everyone and welcome to the Chelsea Fans Channel. Now it's getting to that time of year again where you can vote for your player of the season.
Absolutely, and we implore you, please vote for John Terry.